Cell Parts and Processes, Part 1 by me. Levels of organization. Multicellular organisms such as plants and animals are made up of thousands, millions, or even trillions of highly specialized cells. These cells cooperate to perform a specific task. Tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells that perform a common function. Organs. An organ is a collection of tissue that carry out a specialized function of the body. Organ system. An organ system is a group of organs that work together to perform body functions. They're like circulatory system, cells and their environment. Cell membrane. Every cell is surrounded by a cell membrane. It helps in maintaining order in the cell. Homeostasis. Homeostasis is a maintenance of stable internal conditions in a changing environment. This is a lipid bilayer. Membrane proteins. Various proteins can be found in the cell membrane. These are the types of proteins that can be found. Cell transport. Passive transport. In a solution, randomly moving molecules tend to fill up a space. When the space is filled evenly, equilibrium is reached. Simple diffusion. Small nonpolar molecules can pass through the lipid bilayer directly. This is called simple diffusion. In here, in the plasma membrane, the red dots are the oxygen atoms. They can just pass through the lipid bilayer because they are nonpolar, not like the other molecules. Facilitated diffusion. In a facilitated diffusion, a molecule outside the cell binds the carrier protein on the cell membrane. These are examples of the diffusion. Osmosis. It is the diffusion of water to another solvent from a more dilute solution to a more concentrated solution through a membrane that is permeable with a solvent. Predicting water movement. Active transport. Cells must transport substances against their concentration gradients. Active transport requires energy to move substances against their concentration gradients. Pumps. Many active transport processes use carrier proteins to move substances. Vesicles. Many substances, like proteins, are too big to be transported by carrier proteins. Instead, they cross the cell membrane in vesicles. Endocytosis. Exocytosis. Cell communication. Sending signals. Signals are produced from signal cells. Neighboring cells can communicate through direct contact between their membranes. Receiving signals. A target cell detects the molecule from the signaling cell. Receptor proteins, a protein that binds specific signal molecules which causes a cell to respond. Responding to signals. The cell may respond by changing its membrane permeability, by activating enzymes, or by forming a second messenger. Photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Energy in living systems. Chemical energy. Organisms use and store energy in the chemical bonds of organic compounds. Almost all of the energy in organic compounds comes from the sun. Metabolism and the carbon cycle. Metabolism involves either using energy to build organic molecules or breaking down organic molecules in which energy is stored. Organic molecules contain carbon. Photosynthesis. the process by which plants, algae, and some bacteria use sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water to produce carbohydrates and oxygen. In plant cells, photosynthesis takes place in chloroplasts. Cellular respiration, the process by which cells produce energy from carbohydrates. ATP produced in cellular respiration provides energy for life process. Transferring energy. In cells, chemical energy is gradually released in a series of chemical reactions that are assisted by enzymes. ATP. It's the common energy currency of cells, the shortcut of adenosine triphosphate. ATP synthase. Please read. Hydrogen ion pumps, used to pump hydrogen ions inside the thylakoid to have a concentration gradient. Photosynthesis. Light reactions. The photosystems consist of arrays of chlorophyll molecules. Chlorophyll, the green pigment of leaves, absorbs light energy. The absorbed energy excites electrons to higher energy level. Energized electrons from photosystem 1 are passed down an electron transport chain and added to NADP+ to form NADPH. Meanwhile, energized electrons from photosystem 2 are passed through another electron transport chain. Their energy is used to pump hydrogen ions from the stroma into the thylakoid compartment, creating a concentration gradient. Electrons leaving this electron transport chain enter photosystem 1, replenishing its lost electrons. Photosystem 2 replenishes its electrons by splitting water. Hydrogen ions and oxygen are released into the thylakoid compartment. This is where the oxygen gas generated by photosynthesis comes from. The buildup of hydrogen ions inside the thylakoid compartment stores potential energy. This energy is harvested by an enzyme called ATP synthase. As hydrogen ions diffuse through ATP synthase, their concentration gradient, the enzyme uses the energy of the moving ions to make ATP. Next, ATP and NADPH are used in the sugar making process of the Calvin cycle.